Hello, welcome to the newspaper review. I am your host, Fatou George. On today's standard newspaper headlines, government denies Ecowas chairman's visit linked to Barrow's third-term bid. Race for UDP 2026 presidential candidates open. 22 Tuba pilgrims, including Gambians, killed in accident. Farmers to pay $600,000 is down payment for government tractors. Intending pilgrim to Magal convicted for stealing phone. Gambia among countries with highest prevalence of FGM. Now the news in detail. The recent very short visit of Ecowas chairman President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone, during which even a scheduled press briefing was cancelled, has left tongues wagging to the actual reasons for the trip. While both Bio and host Barrow Stams said the trip is as part of the chairman's initiative to tour and discuss issues in the region. Many Gambians are speculating that President Bio must have raised the issue of term limits with his host Barrow, since the Gambia is among very few countries in the region without term limits for a president. The regional body has been encouraging states to adopt the 2-term limits, and with President Barrow aiming to go for a third term, the topic is ever more relevant in the Gambia now. Contacted on the Ecowas chairman's visit, Information Minister Dr. Ismaila Ceesay told the Standard that Bio did not discuss the topic of a third term in Banjul. No, the talks between the two leaders do not include anything like that, Dr. Ceesay said. Meanwhile, a statement released earlier by the Ministry of Information explaining the visit said, as part of his regional consultation tour following his election as chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of Ecowas, President Julius Maada Bio of the Republic of Sierra Leone undertook a one-day walking visit to Banjul on Thursday, 14th August 2025. The United Democratic Party, UDP, yesterday announced the opening of applications for positions of flag bearer for the 2026 presidential election. A statement from the party said the decisions of the National Executive Committee, acting in accordance with Articles 113B and 23(3)(c) of the UDP Constitution. The application process officially opens on Monday, 18th August 2025 and will close on Tuesday, 2nd September 2025. The selection committee will thereafter undertake a rigorous vetting and consultation process in line with both the 1997 Constitution of the Gambia and the prescribed rules of the UDP. The UDP calls on eligible and interested party members who meet the constitutional and party requirements to submit their applications within the speculated period. The Brigade Nationale des Sapeurs Pompiers National Fire Brigade of Senegal has reported a significant number of incidents linked to the mass movement of millions of pilgrims to the Magal in Touba. The Standard has reliably learned that at least 2 young Gambians, a driver and his apprentice, have been confirmed dead in one of the fatal accidents involving their 22-passenger vehicle and a truck. According to official statements released by Commander Yatma Jai, head of the Information and Public Relations Directorate of the Fire Brigade, 270 road accidents were recorded within just 4 days of the pilgrimage. The sharp rise in road accidents during the Magal reflects the intense traffic congestion and heightened risks on Senegal's main highways as millions of pilgrims descend upon Touba and surrounding areas. Farmers wishing to purchase tractors provided by the government unveiled by President Barrow on Saturday will have to pay $600,000 down payment, while government will pay another $600,000 to cover half of the cost of a tractor, which costs $2.4 million. The other half will be paid by the farmer through installments spread over 4 years. Agriculture Minister Demba Savali told the Standard that farmers are not required to pay any collateral apart from the $600,000 down payment, as government will instead be the guarantor in case of any default. The farmers are not required to make any physical collateral. However, if they fail to pay during the installment, part of the agreement is that government will withdraw the tractor and allocate it to another farmer, and the defaulting farmer will forfeit what he or she deposited for defaulting on a contract, the minister warned. One Hadim Jai was on Thursday convicted and sentenced to 1 year, 3 months imprisonment for stealing a Spark 10 phone from one Amijo. The convict told the court that he wanted to go to Magal in Touba but had no transport fares, which compelled him to steal the phone. However, presiding principal magistrate Mohamed Kurubali of the Banjul court gave the convict an option to pay a fine of $25,000 and ordered him to pay a compensation of $5,000 in default to serve 3 months in prison. Prosecutors allege that the theft happened on 11th July at the Banjul ferry terminal. When the charge was read to the accused and interpreted to him in Wolof, he pleaded guilty. Carl Frederick Paul, the United Nations Residence Coordinator in the Gambia, has said that with 73% of women aged 15 to 49 affected, the Gambia remains among the countries with the highest prevalence of FGM globally. Frederick Paul made these remarks recently in a statement on the recent case of the death of baby girl subjected to female genital mutilation, FGM. The UN country head said FGM continues to endanger the health, rights and lives of girls and women across the country. The United Nations reaffirmed its commitment to supporting national efforts to eliminate FGM. We stand firmly alongside the tireless work of the government, civil society organizations, faith-based groups, youth leaders, survivors and community movements in promoting the dignity, rights and well-being of women and girls, he assured. According to him, no child should ever suffer or lose their life to a practice that is entirely preventable, stressing that the United Nations in the Gambia will continue working with the government to advocate sustainable development and ensure the protection and rights of every child and individual, leaving no one behind. Moving on to the point newspaper headlines. CG says ITAS represents vital shift in tax administration. Barrow hands over 60 tractors to Gambian farmers. Former jungler Michael Correa to be sentenced on Friday. Now the news in detail. In a decisive move to modernize agriculture and uplift rural livelihoods, President Adama Barrow has fulfilled a key promise to Gambian farmers by officially handing over 60 tractors and accessories as part of his government's mechanization drive. The ceremony held at State House in Banjul drew farmers, local leaders and government officials who hailed the initiative as a turning point for the country's agricultural sector. The delivery of the tractors forms part of a broader national strategy aimed at transforming traditional farming practices, increasing productivity, and ensuring food self-sufficiency. Farmers welcomed the initiative with optimism, viewing it as a tangible sign of the administration's commitment to transforming the agricultural sector and honoring its promises. The 60 tractors form part of a total of 180 that will be procured by the government and distributed to farmers. This initiative is designed to complement their efforts, boost agricultural yield and production, and ensure that the labor-related challenges they previously faced become one thing of the past. On 15th April 2025, after a 5-day trial in U.S. federal court, a Denver jury found Michael Sankoria guilty of 5 counts of torture and 1 count of conspiracy to commit torture. Mr. Correa was a member of the Junglers, a notorious death squad in the Gambia. Judge Christine M., who presided over the trial, scheduled Mr. Correa's sentencing for 22nd August 2025. Mr. Correa faces up to 120 years in prison. During the trial, victims and witnesses who traveled to Colorado from the Gambia testified that in 2006, Mr. Correa and other junglers brutally tortured suspected participants in an attempt coup against former President Yahya Jammeh. Fatou Balde, founder and CEO of Women in Liberation and Leadership, attended the trial. It was very moving sitting in front of Mr. Correa and seeing the evidence presented by the prosecution. She said the victims were afforded an opportunity to face their preparators, and you could see they got the power back. Zainab Lowe, a prominent victims' rights advocate in the Gambia, was also present in Denver for the trial. The jury's unanimous verdict was felt all the way in the Gambia, she said. It sent a strong message that the Gambia must continue to work to ensure all junglers are held to account and that all the victims of human rights abuses get justice. 10 individuals have been convicted of common nuisance by the Kanifing Magistrate Court following their arrest in Kololi Tavern on 12th August 2025. The convictions were secured by the Gambia Police Force after residents lodged multiple complaints regarding drug abuse, robbery and assaults on school children in the area. The accused appeared before Magistrate Toure and pleaded guilty to the offense of causing annoyance and danger to the public in violation of Section 1371 of the Criminal Offences Act 15. The convicted individuals are Dauda Cisse, Omar Toure, Mustafa Kor, Mohamed Aw, Ibrahima Seka, Mohamed Jajo, Lamin Suare, Hatim Gay, Mohamed Mboub, and Famara Mane. An 11th suspect, Ibrahima Kurubali, pleaded not guilty. His case has been adjourned to 21st August 2025 at 12:30 p.m. The sentencing of the 10 convicted individuals is also scheduled for that date. The arrests were carried out by the Kotu Anti-Crime Unit, which responded swiftly to community reports of escalating criminal behavior in Kololi Taban. The police have since reiterated their commitment to maintaining public safety and order. In sports, Real de Banjul yesterday hammered Port Club Portos Bissau 4-0 in an international friendly match played at the Life Your Dreams Academic Complex in Basori. The City Boys dominated Port Club Portos Bissau in all departments in the field of play and launched several goal-scoring attempts. Mustafa Baji gave Real de Banjul the lead in the 11th minute of the match from a stunning strike. Momodou Jobate extended Real de Banjul's lead in the 18th minute of the match to deport Club Portos Bissau's hopes of coming back to their feet. Port Club Portos Bissau responded back for an equalizer but were unable to unlock Real de Banjul's formidable defense line. Thus, the first half ended 2-0 in favor of Real de Banjul. Upon resumption of the match, Real de Banjul maintained the supremacy over Port Club Portos Bissau and created goal-scoring opportunities. Wing wizard Abdoulaye Balde scored the third goal for Real de Banjul in the 75th minute of the match. Sekou Njie netted the fourth goal for the City Boys in the 87th minute of the match. Moving on to the Voice newspaper headline, Aweil boss says Senegal is the biggest protectionist in Africa. GRA boss votes to modernize tax processes. Salam Financial Service microfinance boss declares bid for GCCI presidency. Former soldier speaks on APRC political bureau action attack. Janjanbureh MP questions government over undelivered tractors to farmers. Now the news in detail. The managing director of Aweil company, Momodou Haidara, has alleged that Senegal is the biggest protectionist of business in Africa, a practice he says threatens the survival of Gambian industries. Mr. Haidara made the remarks in an exclusive interview with The Voice last Thursday while responding to allegations of cement scarcity in the Gambian market. According to him, Socosium, a Senegalese cement factory established in 1948, has long dominated the cement market. He alleged that Gambians are often forced to wait for up to 2 months at a factory in Senegal due to the long queues of trucks. He argued that the Senegalese government has consistently protected the factory, which has in turn threatened other local companies in Senegal. Honorable Omar Jame, the National Assembly member for Janjanbureh, has raised serious concerns over the delayed delivery of tractors meant for Gambian farmers, calling into question the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock handling of the procurement process. In a statement, Honorable Jame said the public deserves the truth about the supply of tractors, noting that while President Barrow's government pledged 200 tractors in 2024, only 180 were put out for public bidding. According to him, 2 companies, UNA and GACH, were contracted to supply 90 tractors each. The government initially agreed to a 25% advance payment, which was later reduced to 12.5% due to claimed budgetary constraints. He stated that UNA responded by supplying 60 tractors, but GACH has yet to deliver a single unit, despite repeated letters from the ministry. A former member of the Gambia Armed Forces, Abdoulaye Sanyang, has revealed his involvement in the action attack of the APRC political bureau in Kanifing during ex-President Jammeh's time. According to him, the bureau, that was the building, was reportedly housing 300,000 voters' cards allegedly used to foreign nationals ahead of the 2016 presidential election. He said they deliberately set the building on fire, burning down the illegally issued voters' cards numbering 300,000. In an interview on Coffee Time on Thursday, Mr. Sanyang, now based in Switzerland, said the carried out act alongside with other serving soldiers at the time, motivated by patriotism. It was widely known that Jammeh always demanded 300,000 voters' cards after elections. These cards were kept at the APRC bureau in Kanifing in a compound seized from Abdou Dentin, a PPP member, Sanyang recalled. According to Sanyang, the APRC government allegedly transported people from Mauritania, Casamance and Guinea-Bissau to vote in Gambian election using these cards, placing them at locations including Gambia College, the Vice President's residence, Kanilai, Talinding and Bundu. The Gambia Police Force on Thursday, 14th August 2025, received the Director General of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the Gambia, Mr. Demba Cisse, at the police command in Banjul as part of his nationwide tour. The delegation was received by Commissioner of Police Aminyasi of the Banjul region. The visit aimed to reinforce the long-standing collaboration between the police and DLEC in tackling crime and related offences. Speaking during the visit, Director of Border Operations Modu Job commended the police for their consistent support to DLEC and other sister security institutions. He described the partnership as a strong demonstration of unity and shared commitment in safeguarding the nation. Prominent Sudanese human rights group has accused the country's army and security forces of torturing people to death and operating execution chambers. The emergency lawyers group said it had documented hundreds of arrests in the capital, Khartoum. It said that in the worst case, some captives had later been found dead with evidence of torture. The Sudanese army recaptured the city from the Parliamentary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, in March, against which it is fighting a bitter civil war that has killed tens of thousands in 2 years. The army did not respond to the BBC's request for comment on Sunday. Throughout the war, the emergency lawyers group has documented atrocities by both the army and the RSF. In sport, the Gambia Volleyball Federation is preparing to host the Confederation of African Volleyball Tournament in Banjul. The event is a joint initiative of CAVB, the Federation International de Volleyball, and Olympic Solidarity aimed at preparing and empowering young African athletics ahead of the Dakar 2026 Youth Olympic Games. 12 countries from across Africa are expected to compete in the tournament, which will take place in Banjul from September 2nd to September 7, 2025. In addition, FIVB has approved the knowledge transfer program for referee development in beach volleyball to increase the number of qualified international referees on the continent. The International Refereeing Candidate course will be held alongside the Development Cup from September 1st to 7th. Now to the 4AM newspaper headlines. We will defend our historical and legal boundaries, Katong protesters. Magistrate Court sentenced Suleiman Jallow for drug possession. Katong village elders disapprove council's recommended VDC chair. 10 pleaded guilty to commemorations in Kololi Tavan case. Banjul City Council Plan Director faces questions on contracts and payments. Now the news in detail. Hundreds of residents of Katong, joined by villagers from Berending, marched on Sunday to protest against what they describe as an unlawful boundary demarcation by the Ministry of Local Government and Lands. The demonstration began in Katong and stretched up to the Medina Salam Bridge, known locally as Fontidala, which protesters insist marks the original border between Katong and Gunjur. Men, women and youths carried placards reading, "We will defend our historical and legal boundaries, our land, our future. There is already a well-established boundary between Katong and Gunjur. We don't accept a conflicted task force report. Respect the rule of law, and land grabbers will never succeed in Katong." As the marchers arrived at the main junction linking Berending and Katong, residents of Berending joined the procession, walking with them to the Fontella Bridge. Protesters used the site to show journalists what they said was the legitimate borderline that had long existed between the communities. Katim Toure, the director of planning at the Banjul City Council, appeared before the Local Government Commission of Inquiry last Thursday, where he faced a detailed examination of contracts, vouchers and procurement process under the council's watch. Council Sunkari Kamara led the questioning, walking the witness through stacks of documents that spanned years of transaction. The commission admitted into evidence a contract agreement between the council and ASK Plumbing Goods and Services, signed by Toure and the contractor on August 8, 2017. In sports, the Gambia Football Federation on Saturday, 16 August 2025, kicked off a 5-day FIFA Member Association MA referees course at the home of Gambian football, the National Technical Training Center in Old Yundum. The course brought together 36 elite referees, including 8 women. Declaring the course open, the first Vice President of the GFF, Mr. Bakari K. Jame, commended Gambian referees for their professionalism both at local and international scene. He urged the referees to make good use of the opportunity. There can't be any football without referees, more so any football development without referees. This is why we at the GFF have taken refereeing as a top priority in our national football development plan, he noted. Mr. Jame expressed delight in the growing number of referees scheduled for international matches and tournaments by WAFU A, CAF and FIFA. He told the participants that the GFF under the leadership of President Lamin Kaba Bayo will continue to mainstream referees' welfare in its football development programs. He thanked the course director, Mr. Carlos Luis, and through him CAF and FIFA for their continued support of the GFF. This is all we have for you in our today's newspaper review. Please do not forget to subscribe, like and share our videos. I remain your host, Fatou George.